welcome back to the channel. So today we have Krisstayne here with us. Welcome, Krisstayne. So she's also a
Thank you.
YouTuber. She's originally from Jamaica and she is here in Canada. She came here as an international student as well, and she is living in Saskatchewan. So we'll get her feedback about life in Canada. So she will have more recent stories than I probably have, and give you some feedback about life in Saskatchewan. Welcome to Unfiltered Truth, Journey of Canadian Immigrants. Join us every other week where we talk to a new person about their adventure in Canada. Are you interested in coming? Then this is for you. I guess you want to start off with when you came to Canada and what was your journey like, what school you're going to, and yeah, just your initial stages of coming to Canada.
So I came in 2021, and the journey to come here was really rough, as in, a lot of setbacks in the process. So, overcame all those obstacles like getting refused my first school application.
Tell us about that. Was it the school application that was refused, or was it the study permit?
It was a school application. So what I did, I thought I was this genius. So the first time I applied, I just went to the school's website, and I clicked apply, and I just sat there and wrote my application letter right then and there. Didn't read over anything, didn't do anything, just submitted it. So I was refused after waiting for so many months. It was very disappointing.
Right.
But then what I learned is that you have to do it properly. You can't just go on and submit, and you have to pay attention to details and all of that. So yeah, so I'm glad I was refused that part, the school application, because that strengthened my application for my study permit. I learned the lesson that I had to do it the right way. I had to pay attention to certain things. And so that's what I did. And of course, I got through. I applied to another school here in Saskatchewan, and I got through. When I came, I had it in the back of my head that I would struggle. Even though persons glorify Canada, I knew that my journey is different. I am not rich, so clearly I would have to face some struggles. So I kind of made up my mind. When we just came, we had to quarantine because it was during
COVID. So you did a
Right.
14-day. Was it the 14-day at the time, or was it the shorter one?
It was 14. Yeah. So as soon as we were out of quarantine, I started looking for jobs. I got through to a few jobs, and I selected a particular one where I was working at this place, and it started to get really rough in terms of management. It's very different. It was a bit rough, but I was, toughing it out and all of that. And at the time, my husband was working, but he was not working a lot of money. So as I stated in one of my videos, he was working, I think, $1,200 for the month. Yeah, so that's nothing. That's like rent. So, but we were prepared, and I keep telling persons, you will not hear it from me to come here without money. If they say that you need the money, you will have to come with the money. Right. It is necessary. And so we had that little money, but it was going down because I was not working. Yeah, I was not working, and I got pregnant, so I had to leave this place anyway. And it was what do you call it? A seasonal job.
Okay.
So yeah, so being there permanently was not sure. Yeah, so I was not working. He was doing this job, and money was going down, but somehow we were still not too worried. You know what I mean? We weren't anxious. We were just still hunting, because that's me naturally. I don't
give up
easily flustered. Right, I don't get flustered easily. I try to find solutions. So he was hunting for a different job, and I was hunting as well. But nowhere wanted to hire me because I'm pregnant. So
they're now seeing it.
Right. So anyway, he got through with a job, and he, working a little bit more. But it was not easy financially when you see your money going down, your money that you have worked so hard
to save.
Right. Going like this, but we were focused, and yeah, we managed to achieve, small things along the journey.
Milestone. So when you came to Canada, right? Because we know how the exchange rate is, especially for us in Jamaica. God bless our country. But exchange rate is so bad. So like let's say for example, like a rough number, guys, this is not Krisstayne pocket. This no, this is not our bank account. Let's say you have $2 million and you come from Jamaica coming here, you're like, yeah, I have enough money to live. But when you change that out, back in 2021, you probably change it out at a 1-to-1. And so you change it out at 20,000 Canadian dollars. But let's say, for example, for people, and I think this is something important, because you talk about your money going down, that people keep their money in Jamaica and take it out little by little. What that 20,000 will be in a few months because of the exchange rate is 18,000. So I think it's very important to kind of say, guys, you have the money, but transfer it to Canada as soon as you can. But I like that you said, you never stop going. So now you're pregnant, you still have school. How did you feel and how did you react to it in terms of, do you think it was like racism why you couldn't get a job, or was it just because you're pregnant? What do you think was, the deal breaker for them, I guess?
The job, I don't think it was, well, who knows? But why I was about to say I don't think it is racism is that the manager was mean to everybody. She made a lot of persons cry. And I'm like, no. I didn't have a backup at the time. It was just in my head. I was hunting, but I didn't have anything at the time. So I was like, you know what? Let me just hold on. I'm not gonna give up easily. But it became so overwhelming. When you're pregnant, the hormones start to come out. And I was not getting enough hours. For the fortnight, I was getting like 12 hours.
That's barely anything for fortnight.
Right, barely anything. So I'm like, why am I leaving my house for this? And it's not even a high paying job where you can say, okay, you work 12 hours, it's good in your pocket. You know what I mean? So, right. So I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. Yeah, so I left and then I started hunting, but I was not getting anything, right? Because I started to show. And so my husband was the only one working. I didn't get a job until 3 to 4 months after leaving that place. So I shared it on my channel where I had to hide. I had to wear big clothes and, change my body structure and everything just to hide that I was pregnant. And then I got through with a job and I was having lunch one day and then, I was so full. I was like, and then a coworker was like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, yeah. And then, somehow it reached my supervisor. She was like, I'm sorry, I can't have you working as a housekeeper while you're pregnant. And then I had to stop working. And then after that, I got another job. I asked, because that's me. I'm going to ask. Once I have to beg, I will beg. I'm not a beggar, but if I have to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do.
Right. So my job that I'm at now, I found a person. How I found her, we went to the barber shop because here they have the salon is all inclusive. So it's like barber
everything.
Everything. So my husband went to get haircut and he said, my wife did her hairstyle herself. And they were like, what? We're hiring. And so I got the job. Yeah. And I got the job. So she was like, I'm so scared to hire you pregnant. Are you sure you can manage? I'm like, yes, I can do this.
Girl, give me the work and you'll see.
Right. So she gave me a chance, and I was working through it. I was so dependent. She could call me anytime. Can you come in for work? And I would show up, even if I'm tired. Because I don't play. I have good work ethics. I don't play when it comes on to certain things. And so I was going to work and, doing the thing. And after I had baby, things started to slow down because I don't have any family here.
Yeah.
We're all alone. And so I was not working enough to pay daycare. Besides, to get through with the daycare here, it's 1.5 years of waiting. So
what?
Yeah. And I just applied, I think 2 months. So I have 16 months to go.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So
that was a long wait time, or that's their processing time?
It's a wait time, like it's full.
Wow, that's long.
So when I'm called for work, I have to take him with me, or I just can't work, and probably my boss doesn't like to have me there with him, so she stopped calling me. So currently I'm not working, like working.
Yeah, because she's like, I don't want. Okay.
Yeah, conscience type thing.
Well, the fact is, you were able to push through, and I guess it's not racism, it's just the fact that people are concerned for you and concerned for the baby, do
Yeah,
you think?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. Well, for them. However, I've been applying to jobs, and at some point, because it was getting so discouraging, I had to really look into myself to wonder if I am not doing something right. But I have to say that the job market in Canada is very competitive. So it's not what you're used to in Jamaica, where, 10 people applying for this job. So chances are you'll get through like 10,000 applying for this job, this one position. So it's very hard. So, I can't really blame the job itself. I think it's 60-40.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's hard. Like, a lot of persons are going after this position. That's one. Two, as I shared in my video, I'm not naturally that outgoing person to convince people to take me. I believe that give me a chance and I'll show you that I can do it better than everybody else. I'm not the talking type to say, oh, take me, because, I'm not that type of person. So that. And I also think that when I do, because when I submit my resume for any job, I am always called. Like, my
Your
resume
it's
is not
not the
good.
resume,
It's not
right?
the resume. So when I do the interview, I'm like, I think it's because of my color. Like, I'm starting to think that. Like, as soon as I do the interview, no matter how well I think I did in the interview, oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
So I don't know if it is the way I speak, the accent is different, I'm not Canadian, or it is the way I look. So,
You know what? That's funny that you said that, because on the contrary, when I came, you would say, I guess, so much people wasn't here because it was
yeah.
back then. But I feel like I never used to get called like it, like God bless Centennial College. That was like my first official job here, because I just didn't get calls.
Yeah, it's
So
very hard.
it's not your resume, because I know what I was doing wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is a good pointer for people. When I came, I had my engineering degree, my
Yeah.
work experience from back home, and then I'm trying to apply to some data entry or whatever kind of jobs. And then my cousin was like, you can't put any of that. You have to put, you have a high school diploma. You have to take off all of these things, because places like Tim Hortons and whatnot, they're not gonna call you.
Yeah.
Because when my cousin came and I did the reverse for her, so she did her nursing, I took off all of that and just did basic stuff. They called her. People looking from the outside in, I think there's a misconception that you can come to Canada and you can get a job tomorrow. It happens for people, you know what I mean? But out of 100, that
Yeah.
probably happens for 20 people. The
Yeah.
80%, you really have to really go out there and apply really hard and work hard. And as much as the government say, oh, we're short on jobs, I don't know where those jobs are. But when you go on like Indeed and just the people that are in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
500 people already applied for this job, 1,000 people already applied for this job. And it's very competitive, as you say, but a lot of people, they don't see that, and they'll see that, okay, it's Canada, and so the opportunities are here. Um, but I guess to go back a little bit, what you're studying in school, does it is it what you were doing before back home, or how different is it for you here, based on like your knowledge of the working environment in Saskatchewan and the availability of jobs in your field?
I can't apply for jobs in my field, like, direct jobs in my field, because I have a degree in
Teaching.
teaching,
Mm-hmm.
and the study permit says that you cannot work in, I think, elementary, and you can't work in education.
Primary, yeah.
Yeah, certainly it lists out a few other stuff, like any job I think that requires health check.
Like the medical clearance, yeah.
Right, right. So you can't work in that field. So I have to work in things that I have experience in, call center experience. So anything customer service, I would apply for that. And as soon as they see my face, my beautiful skin, it's like, sorry, we have to move on with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you have that experience, or is it just on the job front? Do you have that experience when you like go to the store? Or I've never really been to a lot of places in Canada, so I
Mhm.
don't have the experience. So like, tell me a little bit about how you feel and how it is there.
So before I get to that, like I used to, when I just came here, when I had the time and everything, I used to go around and go to stores and places to apply, like go directly and say, I'm applying for this job. And they used to call me. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they're scared to say no to your face. Maybe it's easier to say no um virtually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Or it's just a case where those jobs were they really needed somebody. I don't know. I really don't know. But like in general, as it relates to racism over here, I don't really see that much. I shared in one of my videos that it is here. Obviously, it's here, but they don't do it outright. Like in
Yeah.
some countries where
It's
they
not,
right.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like, the popular countries,
Yeah.
but they're silent. I tell people this all the time. They're silently racist,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't really tell unless you're looking for it. So don't look for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I share in my video. If you are somebody who looks for it, you will find it. Because you have some people that they just see racism in anything. Like if you're wearing your blouse now, if you're wearing more in one color than the other color, they'll say so you will see it.
That's true. That's
Right,
true. That's
right.
true.
It's
That's true.
here.
Mm-hmm.
So how I see it is like sometimes they don't sit beside you on the bus. Um,
Mm.
see you walking on the road and they would just like,
Go to the other
go
side.
over, right, those type of things. But they won't come to your face or they won't try to touch you or to hurt you outright, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. What about the school? Like, how do you like the school, and how is, I guess, the overall programs that the school offer, and how do you find the teachers there and stuff like that?
So my school, I really like my school. I haven't been in person much, but
Mm.
from right. So from the little experience that I have, um, I find it weird. I always find this weird in Canada where you go to school with these people, you're in class and you're in class and you interact and everything is okay. And then as soon as you go through the door, it's like, don't talk to me. So they just gone about their business. They don't
And
say,
yeah,
hi,
that's
are
it.
we sitting beside you in class? No, they don't care. You just go about your business. But aside from that, when you're in class, if you ask anything, they will respond, they will help you. Um, you do have some people though, like if you get group work, they think that they are brighter than you because you are working at this place or at that place and they're teaching. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they think that they are, as we would say, the creme de la creme. Um, when they give group work, they usually like have you peer assess. So these people
Mm.
will read the work and they will discourage you, like, this doesn't sound good. Correct this, all of that. And I'm like, okay, but I don't do anything to it. Even just my final assignment that I did before the close of this semester, a guy corrected my page, my work, and he was like, he wrote all sort of things, negative things about it. And I'm like, thank you. But I said to my friend that I am not fixing anything on it. And I got 90 something in the assignment.
You
So they
see,
will treat,
bad
right,
mind. They're
right,
trying to trick you.
right. So they will treat you like, and because these people are older people, 40s, 50s, sometimes
Oh,
even
so it's a
60s.
master's program?
Right. It's a
Mm.
master's
Like,
program.
okay, so it's not a, what's it called? Those after degree. It's not an after degree bachelor's of
No,
education. Okay.
no. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they will think that because they are mature and you will look young, you'll get those type of things. But you just have to be confident. You have to just know the lecturer and know what they're looking for. So
Right.
that's just a strategy to work smart and not hard. You have to know the lecturer, know what they're looking for, know if this one likes color, this one likes shape, and then you work accordingly. The lecturers, they're pretty cool, they're helpful. You can contact them at any time and they will help.
Mm.
Um, and with a master's program, it's not that hard where, you have to bust your brain. It's more about reasoning and all of that. But yeah, the assignments are not hard. the lecturers are very helpful. You have some classmates, as I said, they're really helpful, while you just definitely have those. But but yeah, overall it's a very good program, very good school. They try to, keep activities and all of that to keep you social, but of course I don't do any. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Like I'm not so like if them have anything at school,
Yeah.
I'm there. I like to volunteer. So if they have anything, I like to know for myself. And I'm the first one there. But I do understand, especially now with the baby, you have to, yeah. Okay, okay. What about the cost of living? And do you have a lot of Jamaican people close to you?
So let me answer the latter first. You do have a lot of Jamaicans in Saskatchewan. So prior to coming here, I used to think that not many people, not many Jamaicans are here because it's, as they say, in the wilderness. So I used to think that there are no Jamaicans here, but you do have quite a few, and they personalize their car. You call it the license plate of the car, so you can identify them anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, they like to do those things. Um, so you do have a lot of Jamaicans, and Jamaicans, we like to look out for our own. If you see anybody who's Jamaican, we say hi, whatever, whatever.
what's up? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do have Jamaicans, but I already shared in one of my videos that I am not the outgoing type person. So I am not the type to go searching for them, but you do have like an event, I don't know what it is called, where I think once per year Jamaicans meet up at a particular place, exchange
Oh, that's
numbers.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So they have
Yeah,
that.
I'm sorry. I probably wouldn't go to that.
Yeah, not that type of person.
I am introverted, extroverted. So if I have to talk and I need to
Yeah,
talk, I will talk. But
yeah.
I I talk a
That's
lot. If I know somebody and I'm close to them, or my spirit take you like Jamaicans
right.
would
I
say,
work with spirit.
I yes,
Right.
work with spirit a lot. I'll talk a lot. Like
Mhm.
you can catch me that chatting away, but
Yeah.
otherwise I don't really talk that much. When people say me serious.
Yeah, that's me. You have to know me to know these things. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So Saskatchewan is fairly, I would say, affordable. Canada is expensive in general, but you do have other places that are
Way
more
more
expensive,
expensive.
right?
Yeah.
So I would say it is not as expensive. So for example, um, for accommodation, you can find something as cheap as 450, like a studio setting. Yeah.
Like a room, yeah.
And I don't know if it works for other provinces, but like here, they rent you according to the number of people. So for the studio setting like that, only one person can live there.
Mm.
So, right. So that's what I wanted to rent, but they were like, oh, you have a partner? No, this one will work for you. And they're not going to give it to you. But of course, persons have their way to go around it. They rent for themselves
And then move people in.
right. But I'm too scared for that. So,
Exactly. Next thing people
yeah,
come running out in a middle of night.
right. So
Yeah.
yeah, so from 450 for accommodation, what else do you have? Oh, and you have to pay for, I'm not sure if persons know, but you have to have your home insurance.
Like what's
I
the
think,
average cost? Because here is very cheap.
yeah, it's cheap. I think it's like $35 or 20 something
Yeah,
dollars.
it's like 20
Yeah.
something dollars. So,
Mhm.
and you can literally call any company and they give it
Yeah.
to you automatically. It's not anything hard. It's not any difficult. So as soon as you guys land, you know where you're going, you just give them a call. Any insurance company, it's a simple thing. Some people don't require it, but it's so important because if anything
Yeah.
happens to your stuff, you get it covered. It's so, so important.
Yeah. Or some places provide it as well, like in the rent.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
that's how I
really?
pay for it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's a new one. That's a new
yeah.
one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
what's the
The
rent?
rent.
Like if you're renting like a 2 bedroom apartment. Because we started in the basement, and for perspective, you could get like a 2 bedroom basement for like $1,600 back in the day, or $1,500.
I think you can get like for the cheapest 2 bedroom. Because the other day we were thinking about moving and a guy came and he was like he had that's a guy who does the pictures on the place, and he was like he has a 2 bedroom, same setting, kitchen dining type thing. And he said, I think $900 or $850 something. So yeah, I think that's the cheapest I've seen it. Probably it
Okay.
ranges from 11, 12. That's the average cost for two
For
bedroom.
like an apartment building?
Yeah, apartment. Yeah.
That's actually reasonable. Down here where I live, it starts at like 1,400, but in the city, no, it's ridiculous. But for like a nice 2-bedroom apartment here where I live, it's like 14 at the lower half of your budget. And then it of course it goes up to whatever fancy dancy you want. Okay, that's not too bad. I know you guys are really cold. I don't grudge y'all because it's very cold over there. Do you have high heat bill or you don't know because it's in the rent?
Yeah, it's included. The only thing that we pay is for light. And
Okay,
that's
you pay the hydro.
the highest we pay is like $50 per month.
Yeah. Yeah, we pay the same here too, like $56 or something. If we do something extra 1 month, probably $60.
Right.
But I know like for provinces that are colder, your bill can go up to 300.
So that is accommodation and phone bill. I think phone bill is very expensive. Like, back home, especially if you are from Jamaica or other countries
you
where
use
you
the credit.
put on a credit for your phone. Like here, it is not like that. You pay
Mm-mm.
per month.
Yeah, I was talking to I was talking to about that. I was talking to somebody about that recently. Yesterday, actually, I have some friends over and we were talking about it back home in the Caribbean. If you want to call me, you can call me. I don't need any credit. But here, if you don't pay your monthly plan, your phone is disconnected. You can't even get calls. But back home, if you put on your credit or if you're not on the credit, somebody can call you. But here.
Yeah. So I pay roughly 115, 120 there, but just because we have 2 phones that we took out. So, it's a little bit higher.
Yeah, so when you take out phones, but after a while, because when I just came as well, my husband and I, we used to pay $100 for both of our phones. But now, when you pay for it and you complete your bill, it won't be so difficult. And we use Freedom, so it's like one of the cheapest ones. And I call the company every year. And it's a strategy you can use. Like, I've been with you guys for a year now. Can I get a discount?
Yeah.
And they'll give you. So now we pay $25 each.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be that cheap, probably like 60 something or 80 something.
Okay.
Yeah. And use up your student discount.
Exactly. Student discount. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys have it, but here we have this card called SPC.
Yeah.
So if you go to Shoppers or wherever you go, you get a 10%.
Just about anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, get a 10%, right? Or is it $10? Yeah.
10%.
And what about like car insurance? I can give you mine first. In the city, we would pay $450 for the 2 cars, but now where we are living, we pay $250 for 2. So just so we have comparison.
It's $150 per month.
That's pretty good. Did you guys do transfer of when you were back home to say you had insurance from back home? Or is this the newcomer price? Because if this is the newcomer price, this is amazing.
It's a newcomer price. Yeah. It's a newcomer price.
So guys, even though Saskatchewan cold, you can go to Saskatchewan because it's clearly very cheap. But do you guys have a lower minimum wage? What's you guys' minimum wage?
What's the minimum wage again? 13.
Okay.
Something, I think it's
you guys
13.
have a little bit lower. So here it's $15.50. So I guess that little $2 kind of help in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. But that
with the insurance, yeah.
Go ahead.
With the insurance, I'm not sure if persons know, but you can pay it weekly as well.
So you can pay it weekly, so it's a lot cheaper. So good tip. Good point to note. But that's very cheap. When we just started, we were in the city, so I guess the comparison is not great. But it was a newcomer amount, and we were paying 3 something. Yeah.
Oh.
So to paying $250 now, about $100 plus per car, it's really cheap. All right, that was good. That was good perspective for me. So I guess we're going to switch gear a little bit, because I got a little bit of your backstory and we got to compare Saskatchewan. But general, I guess We want to know about general advice that you have for people. You had your fair share of ups and downs, and like all of us, you're still going through your journey and things are evolving, and you have your different wins. And of course, we're not here to like, glorify our wins or nothing like that, but we want, to encourage people and to tell them something that, I guess when you just came, you wish somebody told you before. And what is your take on the journey when you just come in 2021 versus where you're sitting at now? And if I'm looking through your glasses, what is it like? What is Canada like? What is the big picture like?
So first of all, you have to, as I said, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared mentally, you have to be prepared physically, all the financially, everything. You have to be prepared because
Yeah.
as I was stating on my live the other night, if some persons, they prefer to pay for people to do it for them, which is fine. If you have the money, you don't have the time, you can pay your way. However, I like when persons do it themselves because you can learn along the journey. Also, when you get these setbacks along the journey, that this will
How
prepare
to
you for,
act.
right, you know how to act. So if somebody's always spoon feeding you, always doing this for you, the moment you face hardship, you will be like, oh, I need to go back home. This is not for me.
It seems like you're
Yeah.
in a house listening to me. I think it's a really solid point that you brought up about, trying to pay for things and come in and then you kind of clueless. I remember when I came, I did my process through somebody else. Somebody did my process. I didn't know what the process was. I didn't know anything. And so when it was time to do my PR and time to do another study permit, I started from scratch. I didn't have a GC key. I didn't know what a GC key was. And a few months ago, I'm sure you know, I started this company called StudyCan to help persons. When I started to help people, I realized people don't want to do any work. And what I know is that it is detrimental because I'm a person that I push a lot. But coming from a culture where we're a lot laid back and we don't have to push. When we come here and the minute something fails or something falls because we have such a spoon feeding thing, I restructured how I'm doing things to make it more of a coaching where I'm advising you if you need questions, you want to ask questions, I'm there to ask questions. I provide you with the resources that you wouldn't find on the internet and nobody would tell you. It's experience that tells you. But the reason why I'm restructuring to that structure is exactly what you say. Knowing you need somebody to coach you, you need somebody to mentor you to come to Canada. But if you have somebody spoon feeding you, I guarantee you the transition that you will have is going to be different from somebody that did it on their own and got advice and coaching versus somebody did it for you and you just know that you reach a Canada and that's a that. And
it's true. It's true because it's a process. You're always learning. So even if you pay somebody to do it, still know what they're doing, still know the process, Even if it's not knowing to complete the process yourself, but like just to fortify yourself for any issues that you face. Yeah, like if you run out of money, you're not like, oh, I need to go back home. I remember when I was back home, I was a manager at this job and I don't have to be here, So when you know what you want and when you go through these things, like it really strengthens you to face whatever it is, because as an immigrant it is twice as hard.
It is tough. It is really like I don't think we can summarize in our video that it's tough because people will think we don't want you to come. We want everybody to come. If I can get some Jamaicans to say hi to one, whatever, we want everybody to come. But there's too much times I see people come. When I was working at the college, I was working at Centennial. Students are homeless, like people come and them really never know how the thing work and they're literally homeless because they're out of money. People kick them out of them place and they're at Centennial with their suitcase asking for help. And so educating people about what it looks like, we have to be fighters. I think that's the biggest thing. You have to be a fighter, you have to be a pusher, and you have to seek out information. Like you can't just come here on a whim. Like it no work. Like especially
So
for people that don't have family, right? Like you can't just come on a whim.
Right. Yeah. So even if somebody does the process for you to get here, you have to research staying here. Like, how do you navigate? You know, so you might as well just start researching and do these things on your own. In addition, so we all know it's a rough journey, but you have to remain focused.
Yeah.
But I must say that it's a process that you have to pay your way through, like pay with literal money, pay to learn. Like you will make a lot of mistakes along the journey and you literally have to pay to learn. So when we just got here, Canada is big on contract and getting things written down, like they're serious about it. It's not like Jamaica where word of mouth and they're serious about it. And so when we just got here, we were looking places to rent. So we found this place and we're like, we want to secure this place. So we signed the contract, but then we found a cheaper place. We're like, oh, we're gonna change. So we contacted them, we're gonna change. They were like, did you read the contract to know that if you change, you won't get back $200? I'm like, what? So you literally have to pay. Like everything is money here. So when they say that you need to have the money, like I would suggest that you have the money. Because if you don't know anybody here, and especially if you're here caring for people back home. So people are here where if they run out of cash, they can link mommy, daddy, whatever. But you definitely have some people who mommy, daddy linking for money, even though you're here to make life for yourself. You know what I mean? So you really have to make sure that you have the money. You have to have the money. Because if difficulties come, what are you going to do? You don't know anybody here. It's not like Jamaica where you can go to your neighbor and say, like everybody stays inside. But yeah, you basically just have to be determined. It is very beautiful. I'm still on the journey, so I can't say, do this and this and you'll get your PR. So I'm still learning the process, but I see where it is possible. So you just have to be determined. You have to do research and just come prepared.
It's very important. And like I tell people, even on my sessions, I prepare a whole thing to give them just information because I feel like too many times people come not knowing anything. And to be in all honesty, CIC is not the easiest to decipher. It's not the easiest to understand. It's hard, and it's easier for somebody with experience to tell you that, hey, this and this and this. But a lot of people will pay even $5,000 for stuff that they can read. And I'm not knocking anybody. If you're rich and you have it like that, then you have it like that. But the information is there, and there are people that can help you to understand the information if you don't know, but you have to make a step. You have to make an effort to look into it for yourself.
And that's how persons end up being scammed. I always say that's how you end up being scammed, because for one, you don't want to hear from persons like me who are telling you that you need the money and you need to do this, and you want to hear Canada has a lot of jobs, and come to Canada, we have jobs put down, and you don't need any education, no experience, you don't need anything to come, So when they hear these things to tickle their ears, they tend to lean toward that side. When I was poor and I never had the money, there are persons who never had the money and they do it. You know what I mean? But you have to analyze your situation, and I always tell persons this. That is why when we purchased our car, I was scared to put it out there, because I don't want anybody to say them just come and them buy a car, them just come and them have baby, and so they are navigating well, so life must be easy. You know what I mean? Not that I want to put Canada in a bad light or put the bad side of my experience out there, but I want persons to see that you have to really work for what you want. And it's not easy. It is very much not easy. As I shared earlier on in the interaction, I don't have anybody here to help with the baby, so I have to be working. I have to take my son to school with me, even though it's online. But before it turned to online, I had to ask my lecturer to have him to take him to face-to-face. That didn't work out, but if it worked out, I would have been going to school with him. Nobody would know these things because I probably won't hear it, but you have to know your situation. Don't compare whether for good or for bad. do not compare, because you don't know what persons are going through. So know your situation, use people like as guide or motivation, but not to say if that person is doing it, then you must be doing it, or you can't do it, or whatever the case is, just be real.
Yeah, and I think that's important. All right, so I'm sure this was very useful. Thank you so much, Krisstayne. It's good to talk to people, like-minded people that understand the whole Canadian journey and see it for what it is. There are a lot of opportunities in Canada. There are a lot of great things about it. But we are here with this series just to inform people, to keep people on their toes and be aware of the possibilities. Like there's not no better rules or anything that we growing up and think, and we see people online or whatever and be like, yeah man, I Canada want to go because blah blah blah. Everybody's situation is so different. It's not even funny how different it can be. Puss and dog don't have the same look. None of them. Last words from you, Krisstayne.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say, that, you, just as with anything, life itself, you have pros, cons, ups, downs. But it's not to discourage anybody from coming. I was about to share, like, I know I like to talk a lot about Canada. Yeah, but we understand the whole thing. When I was coming, I really wanted to come. Like, I was hunting any means to come. I didn't have the money when I first heard the money to come here. I was like, what? I didn't have the money. We were thinking about borrowing the money, getting somebody to put it in our account. We thought of all of those things, but we were glad we didn't do it that way, because we actually needed the money, So we understand the struggles. We know that people want to come here, they just don't know how to make the first move. Some people will tell you, how can I come here? These are things that you should know, but we have all been in the situation. It's just that we learned how to do our own research and to see what's best for us, so it can work for you. You just have to take your time and try to find ways, do your research. But what I really want to say is that it's a beautiful thing, and through it all, you have to remember your why. So that is important, that you remember your why. So when anything else, goes bad, you will always have that one purpose. So when we were not working, when we, when money was going down and all of that, we remember the why. The why is to not come here to get a big job or a big house, big car, whatever it is. Our why was to have safety. Safety was our main priority. We were in a job back home that could take care of us, comfortable, not rich or anything like that, but, we could survive. It's the same here now, but at least our why is being fulfilled. You know what I mean? We have safety, we are safe, and we also wanted to start our family here. So that's our why. So even if anything goes off track a bit, we can always remember that, okay, at least you're safe. You can always get back on your feet. Right. So just remember why.
Yeah, I think that's a solid point about your why, because some people why is literally because I see somebody, and that's not a strong enough why to stay here. But your why has to be personal to you, personal to your family, and not other people's why. You don't and I find people go to different places because somebody's there, like my family's there or whatever, but your why is not going to be fulfilled there. Let's say, for example, somebody wants to go to Toronto, your why won't be fulfilled there, but your why might be fulfilled in Saskatchewan, whereas somebody else's why will be fulfilled in Toronto. And so dig deep. Finding your why is very important, and research is very important. Finding people that will help you fairly is very important, because there's a lot of scams. There are a lot of scams, and sometimes it's really unbelievable how much money people lose in these scams.
I've lost a few, so I can say.
God, I'm not knocking anybody for paying to, get full-on help or full-on coaching or whatever the case may be, but do your research into those people that we're investing in. Do your research. Like, you have to make sure, say, what they must say is right. If somebody is posing as a RCIC consultant, they're actually RCIC.
Mhm.
And like you have agents that charge you like $1,500 to do a school application.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we have to be sensible. Like we need the help, and I know people are out there needing the help, and that's one of the reasons why I started StudyCan. But with needing the help, I think it's very important for us to understand the playing field that's out there. And what it means is that there are a lot of unfair people, there are a lot of scams, and but you have to seek information and the information that you need, and just do research into people. You know what I mean? Like, take hard to figure out, like, go on Instagram or wherever and say, Krisstayne, let me see. Oh, Krisstayne I do immigration, and Krisstayne says she a teacher, or how she get this knowledge, like where she know it from, or she don't live in Canada, she live in Jamaica, let's say, for example, right? Like, but then you have somebody that lives here and they didn't start as an international student, or they didn't go to school or nothing. And then they say, oh, I'm an agent. And you're like, where you get the information from?
It's very important that you do your research, because if these persons help you with the immigration aspect, like to get PR, and they're not licensed, I think that they can revoke or something like that. It can affect the whole process. So
yeah, if you're doing anything immigration related, check for the person's RCIC number. Check if the person is an immigration lawyer. But there are reputable people online, and there are reputable people that are helping at reasonable price. So just, like with anything else, do your research. Thank you so much once again, Krisstayne. It was absolutely amazing talking to you and getting to know you. And by the way, guys, head over to her YouTube channel. It's Krisstayne. Just type it in. I'll put it on the screen too. So you know, really good content. It's not sugar coated, and I like to see things that are not sugar coated. So make sure that you subscribe.
yeah, and thank you so much for having me.